catch a trot through the funny shop. Buy me some curly hair. Gotta buy a beard and a little black tie. Sure, I ain't got a prayer. Take a little trip to the copyright man. See if he can spare a top 10 record. Get a little tune with a phrase in it that I can play 1,000 times. A little bitty riff that'll bore you stiff until you're out of your mind.
Hi everybody, how's it going? Guess who's here? Who's out there? Me? I'm Tony Young, the man they call Top 40 Tony. How's it going? Haven't seen you since the few callers who called in October, or haven't talked to you since the few callers who called in October during Game 2 of the World Series. Thanks for calling, you guys. You made it worth it, being in the rain and everything. Well, how you been? What's on your mind? Let's talk some music tonight. It's a live call-in show. The number's right there at the top of the screen. It's 1-312-738-1845. Call me up. Let's talk. First of all, before I go on, I'm going to say hello to some friends. My friend Greg Berger, who is in this crazy one-man experimental thing, called Story Time for Grizzleby. I like you, Greg. I saw you last night. To a certain human being that might be out there watching, didn't you once do a parody song of Bus Stop about how you hated the fact that people were calling you to play Ozzy Osbourne when you were supposed to be playing other songs that are older? Anyway, we'll get to that hopefully later. My friend Shane from Naperville, if you're watching or you're out there, you're going to call, hey, what's going on? Cheer Accident, Tim, all those guys. How's it going? I haven't seen you in a while, Tim. Eventually, our roads will cross. Our paths will cross eventually. Let's see here. Let's see. What do I want to talk about? Well, before I go on, I wanted to say, I wanted to get this out of the way. There were #1 records on this date, and I'm going to talk about some of those. I'm going to rattle through them. In 1956 on this date, the Schmaltzy Poor People of Paris by Les Baxter and his orchestra. 1966, the Phil Spector Enraging, because he didn't produce it and somebody was able to produce a Phil Spector record like him. Yeah, his buddy he produced records for, Bill Medley and the late Bobby Hatfield. You're My Soul and Inspiration by the Righteous Brothers was #1 on Billboard's charts on this date in 1966. 1976's #1 record was a record that was the first platinum single first single that was released that was awarded a Platinum Record Award. Johnny Taylor's Disco Lady, featuring the bass line of one Bootsy Collins. Hey, how about that, huh? 1986, he's no longer with us. The man who had the #1 record in 1986 on this date. People either loved it or they hated it. There was no middle ground here. Rock Me Amadeus by Falco. And from 1996, I don't even want to mention it, but I got to. It was #1 10 years ago on this date, Because You Love Me by Celine Dion. Hi, how's it going? Please call. Well, let's talk about this, too. We've lost some people over the last few months that I haven't been on the show. We lost Wilson Pickett in January. We lost Lou Rawls. We lost Buck Owens just a few weeks ago in March. The drummer for the Jackson 5, Johnny Jackson. And Janet Jackson paid for his funeral. He lost his life in a stabbing incident. Just last week, so long to Gene Pitney at 65. He was doing a UK tour in Cardiff, Wales, and he went up to bed and died. And as of yet, the cause of his death is still undetermined. Let's see. Sammy Smith, a one-hit wonder Sammy Smith, she died in February. Her main claim to fame was recording Chris Christopherson's Help Me Make It Through the Night. I think that does it with that. Well, I'm going to read a question from my mailbag here. All right, this one comes from Eugene Halavacek of Chicago, and Eugene wants to know, he says here, there was an ABC and a CBS records. Was there ever an NBC Records? No, there wasn't. Okay, this one comes from Don of Chicago. And he says, has a religious song ever made the top 40? Yeah, there was quite a few of them. One hit #1, My Sweet Lord by George Harrison. It was, went to #1. It was a million seller. Of course, you know he got sued for it. How about Oh Happy Day from 1969 by the Edwin Hawkins Singers? The #3 single, million seller, Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum. Top 10, I believe, in the spring of 1971. Oceans, Put Your Hand in the Hand. How about from 1970, Are You Ready by Pacific Gas and Electric? Does that count? Well, it's a thought. Well, also, I wanted to have a quick rundown of the recent Hall of Fame, inductees. We had Lynyrd Skynyrd, Blondie, the Sex Pistols, Miles Davis, Sex Pistols, Miles Davis, Black Sabbath, Blondie. Yeah, I think I got them all. The Sex Pistols didn't want to show up. They actually have a letter on their website. They didn't want to show up for a multi-$1,000 a plate dinner for your monkey museum or something like that, they said. Blondie had a problem, a little bit of a problem during the performance segment of the show. A couple of their old bandmates wanted to get up and jam with them, and Debbie Harry said no go. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Grandmaster Flash and the Wheels of Steel, White Lines, Don't Do It, The Message, they were actually up for induction, but they decided not to let them in, and I guess to wait. Someone asked me about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. I was wondering why Kraftwerk wasn't there. I'm going to stand behind that one, too. Once again, let's get some calls in. It's 1312.
On the line.
Okay, we
Turn
have
your
a caller.
TV set down, please.
Hello.
Yeah, go on ahead.
Hey, I kind of got a two-part question for you. The rock band Great White had recorded Once Bitten, Twice Shy, which was, of course, written by Ian Hunter and Mick Ronson.
Right.
Did that single go platinum? And the second part of the question is, what was Mott the Hoople's highest charting song outside of All the Young Dudes, which they did not write?
Right. Okay. Here's the statistical rundown on that. Once Bitten, Twice Shy by Great White went top 5, and it was a million seller. The album went platinum. The single went gold. Keep in mind that cassette singles were being sold at the time, and if you sold 500,000 copies of a cassette single, you got a gold cassette for it? I don't know. And truly, yeah, in America, the highest charted single that Mott the Hoople had was All the Young Dudes. But believe it or not, it was bigger on the local charts. They played it on WLS and WCFL. It was bigger on the local charts than it was on the national top 40. It only got to number 37 for 2 weeks. There's your answer for that.
Oh. We have a caller on the line. Turn your TV set down, please.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi there. How's it going?
Hi, Tony. This is Kate. How are you?
Hey, Kay. What's up, baby?
Yeah, Dee and I are watching your show. You look great. You sound great.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Go on ahead. What's on your mind, Kate?
Well, I heard a really interesting program on public radio yesterday about sampling music, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. They said that the most sampled drum beat ever is from a band called the Wilsons, and in 1969, one of their songs had a drum beat that they call the Amen beat, I guess, and it's the most sampled drum beat ever.
You got to be kidding. Now,
No.
how about that? I just learned something I didn't know. I was under the impression it was like Funky Drummer.
I had thought it was Funky Drummer, too. And
Yeah,
I
right.
was really surprised when I heard this.
Yeah, thanks for telling me. This is what I get for not listening to public radio, huh? But no, I had no idea, Kate. I had no idea. What was that you said it was again?
It's from a band called the Wilsons, and they recorded it in 1969.
Right. The
I'll
Wilsons?
The Wilsons.
Wow.
So the interesting thing is, so even though it's been sampled so many times, is that this band doesn't get any money for it, never did, and they seem to be okay with that. But now there are companies that will sell you sample packages where you can sample different beats.
Right.
You have to pay for it.
Right.
And one of these companies is using that drum beat and selling it. So
Yeah.
it's ironic. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, this is a double-edged sword. I was always under the impression that you had to use so much of someone else's sample of someone else's music before it was considered to be complete blatant plagiarism. I was under the understanding, or had heard, it was like 8 bars or something like that. But even so, that's a real gray area. Me, myself, I don't know, because I like the sound of some of those old records, and I can see why they use those beats. But, yeah, thanks for calling, Kate. And thanks for the info, too. The Wilsons? How'd I know? Thanks a lot, Kate.
We have a caller on the line. Turn your TV set down, please.
Go on ahead, caller. You're on the air. Oh, boy. It sounds like the sounds of silence. My. You're supposed to say things when you call here.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Go on ahead.
Okay, I have actually 2 questions. Number 1, will I enjoy the group Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Can you please turn your television set down? I can hear the feedback, and I'm not able to hear you well.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I enjoyed the group Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I just wanted to know what kind of perspective that they were, what were they coming from, because some of the songs are sort of weird, and when I play them, people look at me like, what is she listening to? She's too young to be listening to this. What can you please help me?
Well, there was definitely a spiritual aspect to a lot of their tunes. Obviously, you can hear it in Shining Star, and That's the Way of the World. Did you know that was a movie? Yeah.
Yes.
There was a definite spiritual aspect, and they were into astrology too. Hence their name. The only thing they changed was wind, because it's supposed to be earth, air, and fire. But yeah, even from the very beginning, when they did their first album on Warner Brothers with Jessica Cleaves, who had just left the Friends of Distinction, there was always an underlying spiritual element to their lyricism until you get to Let's Groove, which I'm sorry. I mean, I like them, but that tune just drives me nuts, man. But yeah, don't worry about your friends looking at you weird. I mean, as long as the groove's okay in the tunes, you shouldn't feel too bad. I mean, the horn section was top notch.
Yeah.
So was their rhythm section too. Thanks a lot for your call. All right. Be good.
Someone is on the line. Ready to talk to Top 40 Tony. Go ahead, caller.
Top 40 Tony.
Yeah, it's me.
This is Steve. How are you doing, man?
Hi, Steve. How's it going, my man?
It's great. Listen, my girlfriend Wendy and I are down in Troy, Illinois, where I just got finished eating Jack in the Box.
They still have Jack in the Boxes?
Yeah, this one's in Illinois. This is like,
you know what? You want to know something funny? I was watching a movie with Chris Christopherson in it last night. A friend of mine had his DVD on Cisco Pike. I think that's the name of it, yeah. And he's coming out of a Jack in the Box getting burgers selling drugs. But anyway, no, Steve, what's on your mind, man? What's up?
I got a question for you. I'm really stumped. You remember the band Pilot?
Yeah. From Scotland, yeah.
Yeah, no, good. I'm not sure if they did either Magic or Blowing It All Sky High. If you could tell me which one of those they did.
Yeah. Magic was by Pilot from Scotland, and it's from 1975, the summer of '75. And Sky High was by the Australian band Jigsaw. It was from this bad kung fu movie called The Dragonflies. Yeah, that's two completely different bands.
Okay, cool. I always get those two mixed up. So,
I could see how you would.
Jigsaw and Pilot,
yeah, right. Right on, Steve, man. Thanks for calling. You honestly never knew that?
I just never looked it up, and I figured you're the source, man. So.
Oh man, well, thanks for calling, Steve.
Hey, great to hear from you.
Yeah, great to hear you as well. Gotta go, man. Gotta take in another call.
We have a caller on the line. Turn your TV set down, please.
Go on ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hi.
Hi there.
I was just watching TV, and I was just saying, I wanted to say that I like what you're doing, and I just got a question. It might not be a very smart question, but do you know what's the first ever recording company ever? Recording label?
Oh, man, let me see. I'm going to think, I would guess that would be the Victor Talking Machine Company, the company that made Victrolas. I'm guessing it's Victor, Victor RCA, the label that eventually became RCA, which is now part of BMG, which is now part of the BMG Sony corporate cluster. I know the first record itself was made in 1877 by Thomas Edison, so that might even be, like, there were cylinder records on the Edison Record Company from, like, you know, the early 1900s, so that could even be it.
Oh, okay.
All right, thanks a lot for your call. All right, do we have more callers? Well, gosh darn it, that means I get to answer another question. I got a mailbag from Chip Baffa of Chicago. Was Slim Whitman ever a legitimate artist? Yes. From Glenn Thrasher of Chicago. Glenn Thrasher wants to know, are there any Beatles songs that take critical abuse? Revolution number 9 from the White Album. Mr. Moonlight doesn't always get a thumbs up. That's from the American Beatles 65 album and the English Beatles for Sale album. Some people aren't particularly keen on Do You Want to Know a Secret? Another one that sometimes but not always gets a drubbing is the song that was originally the B-side of the Let It Be single, which was number 1 on this date in 1970. The B-side was You Know My Name, Look Up My Number. Okay.
We have a caller on the line.
All right,
Turn
go on
your
ahead.
TV set down, please.
Go on ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hello, Tony. Actually, I have 2 questions.
Go on ahead.
The first one is, you know, I've been listening to Sly and the Family Stones. There's a Riot Going On.
Great album, man.
From 1971, and you know, the production of it is kind of weird because it has this. It's not that loud, and it has this hissing sound to it. Can you like tell me what was going on? Was this like on the original vinyl LP?
Well, I think that I personally think every time I've ever heard that, whether it's been mastered on CD or what, it's always been kind of quiet. You ever notice how weird the tune Running Away sounds, too?
Yeah.
It's always sounded like that. Sly was going for kind of a darker, a less in-your-face type of sound than his other albums. Keep in mind, he was going through some real heavy personal changes at the time.
Yeah.
You know, the drugs and all that kind of stuff notwithstanding. You remember that tune on there, Thank You for Talking to Me, Africa? It's time. It's 0 minutes and 0 seconds?
Yeah.
Right. See, that was just him making his statement, so to speak. But he got his point across, and hey, the Single Family Affair out there went to number 1, and it was like the first single release he'd had in like more than a year and a half. And back then, that was an eternity, man.
Yes.
But yeah, I've never been able to understand it. What's your next question? We got to make this quick, man.
Okay. How do you feel about Stevie Wonder's songs in the Key of Life?
You know, listening to it now, there's a couple of songs where I'm like, all right, Stevie. But for the most part, I think it's a well-recorded album. I think it's well executed, and I think he played well on it. And there's some good songs on it as well. You know, the one thing I think I might have done, and some people might agree with me here, I think I might have left out that little 33-speed 45 that was in there.
Yeah.
And now, see, if Michael Sembello would have heard me say that, he'd have got mad at me because he's the guy that helped Stevie write Saturn. You know, that maniac dude? Yeah, right. Okay, I'm going to have to let you go, man, so I can take some more calls. Thanks for calling in, all right? Okay.
Someone is on the line. Ready to talk to Top 40 Tony. Go ahead, caller.
All right, I'm all ears, caller. You're on the air.
Tony, hey, it's Avid.
Hey, well, all right, what you want, man?
How you doing?
I'm okay, man.
Sweet. Hey, so I was wondering, what's your favorite Def Leppard album?
On Through the Night.
Oh, nice.
The one with Rock Brigade on it.
Well, what do you what do you think of Hysteria? What's your favorite song?
Excuse me?
Hysteria. What's your favorite song in Hysteria?
The silence in between each of them.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's how I feel, man. I'm so worn.
Seriously?
I'm serious. I am so worn out of that record that I don't care if I ever hear it again.
Oh, okay, what about Pyromania then?
The silence in between each song.
You're not a Def Leppard fan?
Well, other than that very first album they did, when they did Rock Brigade and Hello America, all the rest of it's been worn and stomped into the ground with me, and I honestly, truly don't care if I ever hear it again. It's just my opinion. It's been drubbed to death to me, man.
All right, hey, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, opinions are opinions. Thanks a lot, Adit. I'm glad you called with that. At least now everybody knows that I like a Def Leppard album.
One more thing.
What?
The band Kate was talking about, it's called the Winstons.
Winstons.
That's right.
The same guys that do Color Him Father.
That's right.
Yeah, Color Him Father. I was wondering if that was they did Color Him Father.
The Almond Brothers.
Yeah, Color Him Father and Love of the Common People. The Winstons, yeah 1969, Metro Media Records, Blue Label.
The Almond Brothers.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Well.
Yeah. Like Amen, not Almond.
Oh, as in Amen Brother. It's on the B-side.
Amen Brothers.
Yeah, Amen Brother. It's on the B-side of the Color Him Father single. I have that at home, and I've never even played the damn B-side, so maybe I should sometime.
Sweet, dude. Take it easy.
Thanks a lot, Adit. Yeah, it's on the B-side. Wow, learning some things here.
Go ahead, caller. Ask Tony your question. And get to the heart of the meat of the matter, jerk.
Okay, I'm all ears. Go on ahead, caller.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, how's it going?
Okay, calling to find out what became of Gregory Fowler, the collaborator who collaborated with Clarence Berger on a lot of the Five Stairsteps songs. Do you know anything about his status today?
Oh, man, that's a good clearance. Well, that's a good question, man, because I like some of those old Windy C, those yellow labels, you know, the Curtis Mayfield, those early Curtis Mayfield productions. I haven't got a clue as to what happened to him, you know, but I know Kenny Burke did okay for himself after the band, you know, the band split up and he went on his own. He became the part of the Invisible Man's band too. Yeah, all night thing, but I don't know exactly what the heck happened to Fowler, man. I haven't even heard it. I haven't even heard his name mentioned or anything in quite some time. But I know he's still getting. They've got the old Five Stairstep stuff out on CD, and he's listed as writer. So I hope he's getting his royalty checks, man. Thanks for calling in. All right. Wow. Good. It just keeps going. Hey, guess
we
what?
Have a caller on the line.
Got a caller. Go on ahead. I'm on.
Yeah, listen, Jerry Butler, in his early recordings, used to sing with a lady, and I can never think of her name.
Well, wait a minute now. There's two ladies. Well, you said early. Betty Everett, maybe?
Okay.
Betty Everett. Let It Be Me, he did with Betty Everett. The lady that does the Shoot Shoot song, and There'll Come a Time. He also recorded with a lady named Brenda Lee Eager, but that wasn't until the 1970s. Ain't Understanding Mellow.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, Ain't Understanding Mellow, yeah, from like 1970, 71, 72, from the album The Sagittarius Movement. He did an entire album with Brenda Lee Eager. It was called The Love We Have, The Love We Had, and I don't think it's ever been put out on CD. But there's a picture of them together. A picture of them together on the front cover, and you turn over the back cover of the album, and the picture's ripped in half. It was Brenda Lee Eager, Ain't Understanding Mellow. That's the girl. That's the lady you're looking for.
Let me one last question. If there was one CD that you have to listen to from now on that you'd never get tired of listening to, what would it be?
That's impossible. That's an impossible question. Oh man, I couldn't even. You know, I wish I had an answer for that when people ask me, but I don't, because my moods, the music I listen to, it changes as much as my moods do, and it's judging from me being on cable access, I got to be slightly schizoid, huh? No, seriously, that's not a cop-out, but that's true. I don't know what the hell I'm going to be listening to from 1 hour to the next. It just how my mood hits me, as it would be you or anybody else. Yeah. I mean, I got a whole stack of CDs in my bag in there right now, man.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It's been a pleasure
to you on TV, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. Cool.
Someone is on the line. Ready to talk to Top 40 Tony.
Okay, I'm all ears. Go on ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hello, Tony.
Yeah, hi. How's it going?
Hi, my name is Charmaine, and I'm trying to find out about a song that they used to play every summer called I Watch the Girls on the radio. I used to hear it every summer, and I don't know who it's by.
Say that again now.
I Watch the Girls.
It's not the Girl Watcher tune, is it?
No, it's not the Girl Watcher tune.
Yeah, I've never. No, that's a. Oh, you got me stumped then.
Okay.
Damn! Oh no, I can't even. No, I can't even come up with it. But if you go to, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some thinking and pacing and walking around in circles when I get home tomorrow. And you see my form on the screen, top40tony.com. If I happen to think of it, because it might hit me, I'm not sure. I'll leave the message up there and you can look at it.
All right, Tony.
Yeah, that's my
Thanks a lot.
form. Damn, I hate when that happens. Someone got me.
We have a caller on the line.
Hit my chest.
Turn your TV set down, please.
All right, go on ahead, caller.
Hello, Tony.
Hi there.
I'd like to know if Kiss is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Is Kiss in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Well, I know they're definitely eligible. I see them in the Hard Rock Cafe. I don't think they are, though.
Well, how could that be? I mean, if they have people like Miles Davis that are jazz, I mean, how could they not have Kiss?
Yeah,
in
I was wondering what Miles Davis was doing there, but I think it was because of the fusion thing, the rock fusion thing with Bitches Brew. I mean, take a look at how long it took some of the other acts to get there. Now the deal is it's supposed to be a 25-year gap between your first recording and when you get inducted, and that hasn't been the case with everybody, man. So I don't, I mean, take a look at the people that are the inductors, and they're all music industry bigwig types from 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's incredible because it's not really.
Maybe if Neil Bogart was on the inductors staff, maybe they'd be there. Yeah, the guy that ran Casablanca Records.
Well, how could they be turning their noses to like pure, rock and roll? It's supposed to upset people.
Well, hey, they had the Sex Pistols in there, and I'm thinking, what?
Well, Kiss is, world famous. I think. I mean, it's ludicrous that they're not in there. I mean, like them or not, I mean, they deserve to be there.
I got what you're saying. Well, thanks for calling, my man.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
You got it. Well.
Someone is on the line. Ready to talk to Top 40 Tony. Go ahead, caller.
I'm here.
Tony, how you doing?
Go on ahead and talk. What's on your mind, man?
Why haven't I ever heard, I think the song is by Gene Dunlap. I'd like to get to know you before you break my heart. I haven't heard that song since the album's been out. What's going on with that?
The fact that when you're talking about now, although it's a good song, when you're talking about nowadays, things like that are considered, unfortunately, to be a bit obscure. Keep bugging the people at the radio stations. Ask them to get it. Call them again or something like that.
All right.
Because there's a lot of good records that slip through the cracks that they never play on the radio because they want to pretty much stay mainstream to keep people listening. Your average radio listener listening, and you don't sound like you're your average radio listener if you come up with something like that. So, yeah, thanks for calling up, man.
Sure. Bye-bye. Take care.
You got it. Yeah. Well, guess what? I got a lot of calls tonight. I had some fun. Thanks for calling up. So long.
Number one, gonna buy me a country pad. Spend my money and have some fun, 'cause that riff will drive me mad. Write a new song with a guitar lick that's nothing like the last. A follow-up song is on the way with a brand new guitar blast.